Good morning. We're going to get everybody in the room. Give us just a second. We've been having some technical issues so far this morning. It wouldn't be a Zoom morning, afternoon, all meeting for crying out loud. Let's just be honest. It wouldn't be a meeting without some form of technical difficulty in some way, shape, or form. So give us just a second. All right. Good morning. Very glad to have everybody joining us this morning. Hope you are doing well. It is Tuesday. It is the last day of June, and believe it or not, this month has just flown by. It just blows my mind. Um, this morning we are in our installment of a day in the life of an auxiliary employee, and we have three dining employees with us. We've got um, Gene Johnson and Lewis Pilat and uh, Miss Sandra Patterson. We're working with Miss Sandra um, to get her um, through a call so that she can join us. I mean, she could speak. We'll be able to see her, but we won't be able to hear her as we are at this very moment. So bear with us just a second, and then we'll go ahead and get started. You know the drill um, about the chatting in your questions, and if you have any feedback after the fact, auxiliary.uga.edu, click on the survey and feedback or auxiliary connections tab, and then survey and feedback. The first, the two links, there's two links there. The first one is for survey and feedback for the daily sessions and for content like that. The second one is for messages to Robert in honor of his retirement. So um, don't forget to go do those, to do that particular one as well. We have very short amount of time to do that one. I don't want to talk about that part, but we need to get on there. Don't want to miss out on that. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. Lewis, you've been sitting so patiently waiting and ready. I gotta let you go first. You've been so patient.
Okay. All right. I thought we'd go ladies first, but I'll take it. That's fine. A day in the life. I get up in the morning. I drive to work, and I am happy to do that every day. For 23 years, I drove to McDonald's, and I hated it for the last 10. So when I started working here, I loved it. I drove an hour one way for 7 years to come to work here, and I loved it every day. To get going in the morning, I jump on my bike from the parking lot and I ride it to the Tate Center. I come to the Tate Center. I say hello to everybody. Good morning to everybody by name, unless they're in a huge crowd. And sometimes I do that even when they're in a huge crowd. I come in, turn on the equipment, make sure Sambazon machine's ready to go by 7:30. Start setting up the prep tables. By 8 o'clock, my first full timer comes in. I sit down, I check my emails, I check my time punches, make sure everything's well with all my time punches. I check the previous day's sales to see what we did, and I check the same day I'm on. Like if it's a Tuesday, I'll check the Tuesday from the previous week to see what kind of business we did the previous Tuesday, just to keep an eye on the business and see what we might have coming. Check how many people I may or may not have that day. Check the emails for kids sending in emails to say they're not coming. decide what we're going to do as far as setup in case only 3 people are going to be here for lunch. We put our stars in their positions and we go for it. I'm kind of looking forward to this August. It's going to be a whole new situation. Things change. You're supposed to embrace change. So I don't mind embracing change. It's going to make things different. The routine's going to change. A lot more Grubhub. And then we open the doors and just start going for it. I mean, it's a different experience every day.
That is true. That is true. No 2 days are the same ever in auxiliary. I have learned. Okay, Miss Jean, you want to walk us through your day?
Good morning. Well, I get up early enough to make myself some breakfast. I get to work early. I like getting there early. I'm supposed to punch in at 6, but I like getting there at 5:30, so I'm not in a rush. I'm just kind of chilled. And my current station, when we left, was omelet station. I like to get there as fast as I can so that I can turn everything on, make assessments, depending on where I'm at. If I'm making omelets that day, that's my space to set up. And I like to have plenty of product. So the lead person in the station has taught us and me how to set it all up, make sure it's right, you've got the proper utensils for it, make sure you are ready to go. And you've got to be ready to go by, I don't know, like say quarter till, just to give yourself a little, say 45 minutes to set everything up, get your prep list, and then go help somebody else. I just do the day, making omelets. I have difficulty and have had difficulty flipping those omelets. So what I have to do is I've got to get extra height on that omelet, and sometimes it's 2 to 3 feet, depending on what I've got in the omelet at the moment. And what's really nice about it is I've got students going, "Oh, cool, do mine like that," or you just hear a little chitter chatter. And sometimes I'll let out a big whoop because I actually flipped it and it didn't fall on the floor. But while I'm making the omelets for the students or employees or whatever, I like to talk to them, because it's not just a piece of glass between us. It's just a matter of space. And so they don't want to, I look at it as this: when I get served, I don't want to just be next. I'm still a person. They are still a person. And I like to just have light conversation and just make them feel welcome, make them feel like they're coming into your house. And I look at Bolton is that's my house. And I don't want people coming in to see my kitchen messy, personally or at work. I don't like to see mess. And they don't need to see mess. They don't need to see disorganization. They just need to feel like they are the most important person in your life at that moment in time. And that's how I like to do it. They're the reason, in my opinion, as to why we do what we do, to go above and beyond. It doesn't mean that they just get, here you go, and it's like, here you go. You enthusiasm goes a long way. So does so does your smile, so does your attitude. If you give them a bad attitude, and I have had bad days, my personal business will sometimes show through, but it's not meant to. So, and I've learned to try really, really hard to check my emotions at the door. But working with these kids, I've had the pleasure of going to a wedding. I've gone to meet them. I will give them my phone number to study. I mean, I just love the kids. Even when I was at Salad Shop, it was more interaction because you can get a group of people together and have a conversation, just a little bit of conversation. But anyway, then toward the end of the day, you get cleaned up after you've done your prep. And the prep for me is get it done, get it over with, move on. There's always something to do, whatever station you're at, in my opinion. Because if I'm on the clock, I've got to be busy. I don't like to stand and chit chat. And some of it's good, I don't have a problem with it, but I've got to put my priority on my work, not on just talking, because when I'm at work, I'm focused on the job. But then, get everything done. I've already had my 2 meals out of the day, and I'm done. But and sometimes at the end of the shift, I'll notice the dish room is backed up, and management wants us to find them to make sure it's okay. I just jump in because they're so overloaded. I love loading the dishwasher, because I can go in my back room. I've been in food 45 years, and I mean, the dish room is just, to me, a lot of fun. I'd like to do a rotation in the dish room, not just in my station. But anyway, it's always nice to help somebody out who's in the weeds, because they appreciate the effort that you've put forth. At the end of it, you see the finished product, a smile on their face, caught up. People have dishes, or whatever station it is. So anyway, then I punch out and go home and do it all over again.
That's all right. Lewis, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Tell us what makes Lewis Lewis.
Okay. I enjoy working here at the university. And for those who work around me know I like to listen to music while I'm working. And I really do appreciate the fact that my bosses have allowed me to listen to the music while I'm working. It makes things a lot easier, a whole lot better. And like Jean was talking, Jean's got a work mode. I have a work mode. I'm a completely different person when I'm not at work. When I come to work to take care of business. Want to take care of the customers, want to improve the business, want to make as much money as possible, keep labor and food costs down as low as possible on a daily basis, trying to improve niche. Unfortunately, the pandemic came along. We actually thought we might make some money this year at niche. We were hoping to hit the positive side, and then the pandemic came and put a stop to that. But we were trending towards being on the positive side this year, which I was extremely excited about. And I tried to get my managers excited about it, and the students were getting excited about it. The biggest reason I love working here is because the workforce is so much different than what I used to work with. The kids here at the university are achievers, and they want to do their best. and they're so easy to work with. They're so easy to train. They're so easy to direct. You don't have to ask them to do something usually more than once, and they'll take care of it on a daily or weekly basis. Or if you haven't asked them to do it again, they'll ask you, hey, I want to do that again. Can I take care of this for you? And it just makes your life a whole lot easier. You still have follow-up, of course, but the kids want to achieve. They want to, well, they've been achievers all their lives. They wouldn't be at the University of Georgia if they weren't. They wouldn't be making the grades that they make if they weren't. And my assistant managers are great. They want to learn all the time, and I want to teach them all the time. Two most important things when you're running in a retail business are food cost and labor. And my kids, and I call them my kids, and I tell them when they come in, I'm going to treat them like they're my kids. I have 3 kids myself, and I don't treat these kids any different than I treated my kids growing up. Of course, my guardian angel, who's not with me anymore, has told me I'm a little abrupt with the children once in a while. But I mean, I've had a few kids who'd be mad at me in the beginning, but by the time they leave here, some of them 4 years later, we're pretty good friends. They'll send me messages after they've left and gotten jobs, and they always ask me for a recommendation. And if they've been around for 4 years, I can promise you I'm probably going to give them a pretty good recommendation. But it is all about the business for me when it comes to working. I want to do the best I can. I want the kids around me to learn how to do their best, learn a little bit about business, no matter what they're majoring in. Lord knows my major had nothing to do with food. Sometimes I sit back and wonder, how did I end up in food? And then I think back of the history. My first job was in food. And then I worked all the way through high school in a convenience store. And then when I got to college, I started working in dining rooms. And it just kind of stuck with me. I like working in food. Unfortunately, I like food so much, I love to eat food. And it makes losing weight kind of difficult, especially after 23 years at McDonald's. Eat McDonald's 2 to 3 times a day. I truthfully believe that if I had been at McDonald's the last 10 years I've been here, which, by the way, 2 weeks ago yesterday, I've been at university 10 years.
Congrats.
I truthfully believe I might be dead, because the stress level at McDonald's was beyond ridiculous. And the food doesn't help. But as far as coming to the university, I love coming here every day. I wake up every morning, and the first thing I think is, I'm not going to McDonald's, I'm going to UGA. And I love it. I love working with the kids. I truthfully believe they're keeping me young. They challenge me every day. We have in-depth discussions about different things. My guardian angel has moved on. He's been promoted. He's still trying to keep me out of trouble. I don't look for trouble, but sometimes I'll find it. But it's not intentional. Other than that.
All right. Well, congrats on your 10 years.
Thank you, ma'am.
We think, fingers crossed, everybody, we think we've got Miss Sandra ready to go. Miss Sandra, are you there? I'll have to *6. No, #6. *6, pound. Julia, help me.
*6, I think.
*6.
I'm trying to.
Thank you, Julia. Sandra. Okay, while Miss Sandra works on getting unmuted, Jean, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, what led you to UGA and food?
Well, one of my first jobs was waiting tables in Chicago. And I was actually 13 at the time. And I worked there until I was 15 because they wanted a birth certificate. So my dad forged a birth certificate for me. Thanks, Dad. And so I kept working. And then, I've been waiting tables for me has carried me through everything. When I I got married at 18, divorced at 20, and during that time, I had to have money to be able to support myself. And doing that, I rose in the ranks with this one company in Florida. And I actually ended up being a trainer, a service trainer. And so I went through classes, and I went to one place that I was one of the trainers chosen. I also wrote a training book and taken tests. And so I wanted to achieve more money. And so that's what I did. One year, we had bike week, spring break, and something else when I lived near Orlando. And I made more money that year than the store manager because I trained and I got more money for training. I worked third shift. I got more money for that. And so, through food service, I've been independent. And then at that restaurant, I moved to a different restaurant, same company, but that's where I met my husband. Willard was a truck driver for Publix, and we just hit it off right away. And that was in '84. And we were married almost 32 years before he died. So I was, I stopped waiting tables to raise a family, but I still work. So I worked for the grocery stores. And then God said, okay, raise your kids. So I took 2 years off, and I said, I need a mommy job. So I went to be a lunch lady. The elementary school was the best. A lot of these kids, you don't know what kind of baggage they come with. These kids, I had one little girl, did you miss me? Did you miss me? And I was like, there's like 700 kids. We would serve like almost 900 meals a day between staff and teachers, along with the kids and parents and stuff. And I didn't want to say no, but I said, yeah, where you been? She says, I had to go live with my grandma because my mommy and daddy went to jail. That was heartbreaking. And so you might be the only light in that little kid's life, just a smile. What a lunch lady's going to do? They're going to feed you. Everybody loves food. So anyway, then I was like, you know what? I've been working for the school system for over 10 years, almost 10 years, and I'm just making above minimum wage. I got to find something year round. So I prayed and I said, God, I need a job. I need something that's year round that's going to support me, is going to bring more money in. And I was like, wait a minute, doesn't UGA have food? And that's how I got to UGA. And Chef Tim interviewed me. And he asked me one of the most important questions I have ever been asked. And he says, in food, what is it that you like to do the most? And I was just shocked. Really? You really want to know? And I was just, okay, just step out on a limb. He wants to know the truth. Let's tell him. I said, I love to do prep. I love to do prep. And so that's what got me the job. I was able to do prep. He put me in the salad shop, and I'm forever grateful for that. Thanks, Tim. And and that's where everything starts. August 23rd, I will enter my 8th year. So I'm getting much closer to not retiring, but tenure. Congratulations, Lewis. That's an awesome accomplishment. But on the side, I like to sew. When I was 18, I had sewn my own wedding dress. I have sewn clothes for my kids because, yes, Jopher, she still loves prep. My kids were growing so fast, I had to make their clothes. Their waist was bigger than kids their age, and their legs were extremely long. Nothing fit. So anyway, I did that. And then it was coming up to Cook's Holiday, and everybody knew I sewed. I just take a lot of pride in it. So someone approached me to make the stockings because of the way Cook's Holiday at Bolton was going to look. And I made over, I want to say 350, and I had some help. I don't think folks enjoyed it as much as I did. But I brought my sewing machine and the ironing board, and I got my Jesus music, and I'm in the hearth room all summer, and it is just euphoria. And then when they hung the stockings, it was like an accomplishment. Something is done, it's over with, let's move on. But and now I've been making masks. I've been trying to make bibs for senior citizens and donate them to like memory care facilities or nursing homes, so folks don't ruin their clothes, and it's just, a little Velcro around. I got my parents with me for maybe another 2 weeks. And so mom comes and she doesn't have any pants that have elastic. They've gone out. And so now I'm fixing her pants. You don't have to throw them out. You just need to fix them. And then I won't do anything for a while.
All that you
but
need
anyway, yeah, I get bored with it, but it's a euphoria. It's my comfort zone. It's relaxing. Sometimes I see deer running up outside the window, so that's kind of nice.
All right. Well, thank you, Miss Jean. So
Yes, ma'am.
we have shifted to to what we're gonna try to make a new arrangement. We've got Miss Sandra by proxy. So Danielle has got Miss Sandra on the phone.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, Sandra.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Hey, Miss Sandra, how are you?
Problems this morning.
How are you this morning?
Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear us?
Good morning.
Good morning, Miss Sandra.
You hear me? Oh, I'm sorry. How y'all doing this morning?
We're doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good, other than this phone. This somewhere is always late.
It's okay. It's technology. It makes us appreciate the simple things sometimes.
Yes, I do appreciate the simple.
So we'll try. If you want, if you have a minute to just tell us what a day in your world is like.
Oh, I have good days. I get up, start my day off with my grandkids. That's the one that's first start. Then I go to work and I take on my big kids. That's the better one. I go in and get set up for my customers opening up at 7, and try to stay focused and just relying on them, taking care of them, being there for me if they need me, and greeting them all with a smile and a hug in the morning. That helps get my day started pretty good. And I enjoy what I do.
I think that makes a difference, enjoying what you do.
Yes, that's a big part of it. So that's probably why I've been there so long, because I really love my job, and I love being with the students, acting with them, hanging out with them, and I love Snelling. I love food services. So it's just been wonderful being employed for the university. And
How long have you been here?
Pardon me?
How long have you been at UGA?
Oh, I've been at UGA 32 years. I was hired there in 1988. And I started out at Snelling. I was a salad girl and a food line server. And so I worked there for about, I'd say 6 years. And then I left there and I went to Memorial Hall. And that was then we were serving food there for their faculty. So we only served faculty there. And when it closed down, I was there about 10 years. No, 5 years. Then I went down to the Take Center. And I started working down there for Chick-fil-A. And then I worked there a couple of years, and I went back to Snelling on the night shift. Working there, came to the day shift, and I'm still there and enjoying it all.
Okay. So tell me how do you stay humble when you are the most chatted about employee on campus, and there's even a petition out there to rename a campus building in your name? Well,
that part there is so touching, and I feel so overwhelmed when I heard about that. That someone would think of me to go up on a building on university campus. That's an honor.
Not just somebody. Over 10,000 signatures on this petition. That's not just somebody. That's a lot of somebody.
Oh, I thank them all, but I try to stay focused and work the way God wants me to work, and being nice and kind to people, making sure that they are treated the way I would want to be treated if I was on the other side. That's an honor, and I really love my kids. I love everybody I come in contact with over there. Sometimes they're not all nice, but just keep talking to them and being nice to a person. Eventually they'll break. Nice too.
You did get somebody
so
like me.
That's what I try to think of.
Yeah. Well, you did get somebody like me who's a non-hugger to hug you every time I see you. I have to have a Miss Jean hug, and I had Miss Sandra hug that. I was looking at the camera, Miss Sandra hug, and that's an accomplishment in and of itself.
Yeah, see, and when you told me that, I felt so good because I knew you wasn't a hugger. But then, coming in contact with you and seeing you, knowing you, we were there for the same reason.
Yes, ma'am.
Someone. So that made me feel good. So I'm like, okay, she's living like I am, so we're just gonna hug. and we hugged and we hugged. Now we both enjoy hugging.
This is true. It's true.
I love working with y'all.
We love working with you too. And we're glad we got to hear your voice today.
I know it's been a long morning for me. I was up this morning getting ready to get started, and I was early. I showered and got dressed. I was excited. Had everything all planned out what to do and thinking about some of the questions somebody might ask. And, you know, I was just excited, but that's okay. In the line of work. It doesn't never right, but that's okay. I'm here now. You know, it's just honor that y'all would ask me to speak on this section. You know, I love doing things. I know I'm not the greatest in it, but I love trying to do what I can to help out wherever I can help out.
You're the best Miss Sandra the campus has ever seen. You're my additional mother. So
yes, that's what I want to be.
And you are for so many of these students on campus. It's just you should feel very, very honored, and I'd hug you right now if I could.
And I am so honored. There's so many real parents to the students over there. They allow me to be there, and I appreciate it. That's what I enjoy doing, working with the students. How I figured out I like working with kids. When I was 20, I started working at a daycare center, and that was such a rewarding job, you know, with the little kids, leading them, helping them get started in their early life. And that was really wonderful. And when it shut down, I was thinking, what am I going to do? Where am I going to go with all? And, you know, work with kids. And a friend of mine, she came to me. She was working at the university at the time. She said, come and work over here at the university. So she brought me to Snelling. I met Mr. Fair and Mr. Clark, and they hired me. And I worked there that first week, and I was thinking, this is my spot. And, you know, I hope y'all never take it away from me, or God never take away from me, but I think that's my spot.
I think you've made a good home for yourself.
Thank you.
There was a question out there that said, with all of your years at UGA, what's been your greatest struggle, and what can we learn from that?
My greatest struggle at UGA would be, well, I really didn't struggle doing anything. It was just motivating myself around. That was the struggle I had, you know, dealing with different students, trying to be there for them when they invite me places to go with them here. You know, they do plays. They do, you know, new students coming on. They want me to come to their show and with their and you know that's been it hasn't been a struggle, but you know, trying to spread myself around in order for to be where they want me to be or they need me to be. I try to feel that mother role with them, going places they want me to go with them. So just my thing would be to everybody, just always be yourself. You know, just try to do what you need to do for yourself. And that way, I think you'll accomplish what you want for you, and then be what other people want you to be for them.
Okay. Now, Darnell says a rubber rat. And what?
Please, I don't want to talk about that one.
Okay, we won't talk about it
Tell
now.
Mr. Tate he's wrong for that. Oh, no. Oh, he done throw me on a whole new level. And if he know he wrong. Oh, no. Okay. I don't want to talk about that one. Another question.
All right. So I'll let you guys. Darnell says he loves you, Miss Sandra.
Tell him I love him and thank you for asking me.
That was with much love. Yes.
Oh yes.
All right. So stay around with us for a few more minutes, Miss Sandra.
Okay.
I'm gonna switch over to let Lewis. I want to ask him the same question. What's been your biggest challenge, and what can we learn from that? Okay.
All right.
You got to unmute yourself, Lewis.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
My biggest challenge is pretty much getting out of my own way. I kind of say what I think, and that tend to get in my own way. Now, there is one thing I have been thinking. Since this whole thing started, Catherine, I have to throw you a huge shout out. Because you have run all but what I can think one day, every talk show, every class, every presentation. You have been on top of, here are my fellow managers here at Tate. You have been on top of every single one of these. But, and we appreciate it. I mean, if nobody has worked every day, I believe you've worked every single day but one since this whole thing started. And you're on the screen every day.
I did take a few days off. I needed to, but you know, when this whole thing started, when we didn't know how long it was going to last, and we didn't know what was going to happen, and I thought, okay, I'm going to kickstart this with Zoom, and they've yet to come back and say, okay, we need somebody else to do this for a while. So I've either been good and haven't said anything to get myself in trouble, which, you know, you and I have that same. When you said that, I was thinking no, not Lewis, not me. As far as filters, and so I'm very humbled that they have let me keep doing these. But this is so out of my comfort zone, you just have no idea. So
well, it should be in the middle of your comfort zone now. You've been doing it for 2.5 months.
No, it's still one of those, okay, is this gonna work? How's this gonna work? It's
like a talk show. You could do it like bi-weekly after school starts. We could do it once every 2 weeks.
Don't give them any ideas, Lou. So yourself was the challenge. Getting in your own way. It was your.
It's not intentional. It really isn't. But you know, I think I should be able to say and think what I'm allowed to say and think at times about some things that I see, and it gets me in trouble sometimes. I mean, I'm not doing it intentionally. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. I mean, it's not like I go out and attack people or anything like that. It's just I have ideas about things that I've learned in, good grief, almost 40 years of food service. And sometimes, you know, when you feel like you're not being listened to, it can get a little aggravating sometimes. But it's okay. I still love the job. I love it.
That's right.
Yeah. I mean, I love it because there's so many people involved. I love football Saturdays. Holy cow. I want Niche Pizza to do 20,000 pizzas. 20,000 customers on a football Saturday would be great. I don't know how we'd keep up, but it would sure be fun. I mean, we did, and like I was saying earlier, I like to check the business history. Like football Saturday, I'll determine who we're playing, what time of year it was, who we are playing, and then I'll sit down and try and figure out how many pizzas we're going to sell that game. And this year I hit it twice right on the head. I said one game we'd sell 800 pizzas, and we sold exactly 800 pizzas. And then the next game I said, we're going to sell 700 pizzas this game. And I missed that one. We sold 740. But yeah, I have fun with the numbers too. And sometime I would love to teach a food cost class and a labor class, so our assistant managers know what they're looking at when it comes to food cost and labor. And I'm hoping to be here long enough to see my granddaughter graduate from the University of Georgia.
Okay. Now, how many of those pizzas did you buy to get you to exactly 800?
I can't afford to buy that many pizzas.
We'll talk about that offline. Just saying. That's too. You put a head on nail. Hit the head of the nail too directly on that one. We'll just have to talk.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was amazed. We nailed it right on 800.
Yeah. All right, Miss Jean, I'm going to ask you the same question. What's been the biggest challenge? What's been the biggest challenge that you faced in your time and at UGA, and what can we learn from it?
My biggest challenge, it's not the work. Like Lewis, we want things done a certain way. I'm just speaking for myself and just seeing listening to Lewis. But a lot of times for me, I have higher expectations for people. I see their potential and I try and push a little harder. It doesn't work that well. I open my mouth and it doesn't come out right, because from here to here, there's a gap in electricity, but from here to here, it's connected, and the heart doesn't necessarily express what the mouth is saying. I have the biggest intentions of helping people. Sometimes I go about it the wrong way. It doesn't come out the way I intended to. So yeah, I do get in my own way. Lewis, I do want to take that class because I am so interested in numbers, and if the powers that be have that class available, I will take it. Hook, line, and sinker. Catherine, you're just awesome. I cannot believe the amount of things that you are able to do that I never knew. Probably not all of us knew it all either. So kudos.
Thank you.
I think the other thing is my memory is a hindrance because I can't remember names. I have to write them down all the time. Sometimes what you say to me is not necessarily of how I interpret it. So I will come back and ask, just because I've got what you said, what I think, and it's not always right. So I will ask again, or I'll even write it down. So anyway, I'll mute myself.
That's okay. Was there? Let's catch Miss Sandra while she's still on on our rigged system. Miss Sandra, anything you would like to add? We've got about 10 minutes and waiting on any questions to come in. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Oh, yes. I also would like to thank you for a wonderful job you have done with this. I've been watching it most of the days, majority of the days. Sometimes it's crazy and I can't get on. But the times I have seen you, Randolph, and the whole auxiliary team, y'all have been wonderful. But you have really, really been out rock from your part, you know, and I would like to thank all managers. They have been wonderful, not only in this time, but over the time I have worked with quite a few managers. And my managers, they are wonderful. I love working with everybody. Danielle, you wonderful. And I enjoy working with the students, greeting, and I just love being at the university. And thank all of y'all for giving me a chance to actually be me. And, you know, sometimes I know it's weird what I do, but thank y'all for allowing me to do that.
We wouldn't want you to be anybody other than who you are.
Thank you, and that makes me feel wonderful because I can do exactly the way I want it, and it's going to be so hard coming back to work. It's going to be, are y'all going to put me in a bubble?
Well, I'm not going to answer that, but how we're going to get you able to hug people is I'm glad that's not something I've got to figure out because I don't know.
I know.
We actually, I'm gonna jump in. We actually have talked about making Miss Sandra one of those things you've seen on the internet where it's like a big plastic sheet with the armholes through it.
Yes.
And then the kids have the armholes, and then you know it's gonna be like Miss Sandra's hug station.
Okay.
A big plastic sheet.
Oh, I'm crying now.
Running when I go out and I run into some of the students and we be standing there, we be talking, and I'll be like, it's just weird. I cannot give you a hug. So we just do the elbow down.
It's really funny, Miss Sandra, just to bring you in, and I know you can appreciate this as the dining leadership has been talking about safety protocols and everything in the restaurants. Every conversation has what is Miss Sandra gonna do about the hug?
I know. It seems so weird. You know, when I see them on the outside, I hug them and everything. It's just really gonna be weird for me to go back and can't give them a hug.
You're gonna have to practice the air hug movement.
I have already started that.
Look, Miss Sandra, Robert sent me a message, wants to make sure that I tell you that he needs a hug before he leaves.
Now with him, he gonna definitely have to get one if I have to wrap up and he wrap up, and he gonna have to get a hug before he leaves.
You could bubble wrap.
Yeah.
And then it would be like pop, 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 pop.
Yeah, and we can pop it. But I have really enjoyed him being there with us, you know, coming in and getting us on a new level, thinking bigger. And, you know, it's been wonderful chatting with him when he come in to see us and check on things at Snelling. So, Mr. Holden, if you're listening, I appreciate you. And good luck wherever you go and whatever your intentions are. And we love you. Always remember, we have a special place in our hearts for you. So stay the way you are, and good luck.
Thank you, Miss Sandra.
Thank you.
Lewis, any final thoughts?
Just hoping to be here another 20 years. Because that's how long it'll be before my granddaughter graduates. She's only 3 years old.
Oh, well, you didn't specify that.
And I fully expect her to graduate from the university at the business school and take over her family business from her daddy, and hopefully keep my son employed over there. So, but
No
other
pressure.
than that, I'm sorry?
I said no pressure or anything.
No, none whatsoever.
Yeah.
But their family's been passing their business down for the last 60 years. So she ought to keep it going. She got a couple cousins that can help her.
All right. Miss Jean, any final thoughts?
Yes. First of all, wash your hands 20 seconds. We all been doing this a long time. Just enjoy the job. For a lot of us, it's not just a job. This is our livelihood. This is who we are. This is, it's bigger than us. And so thinking bigger is what we've all got to do. And for me, I'm preaching to myself, is embrace change, because every day's going to change. Every hour is going to change, and just relax and enjoy the ride. This soon shall pass. We hope.
All right. Well, thank you to all three of our panelists this morning. It's been thank you for being patient with us while we work through our technical difficulties, technical challenges, if you will, and I appreciate all of the kind things that you've said about me. This was not a session about me. So,
but you're appreciated.
Auxiliary is my family. So I do what I do to for my family. So in closing today, I want to make sure that we capture all of the things that we've got going on today. Has been it's been a busy start to the morning, and it's only 10:58. There's so much more left coming. So we've got 2 NACUF sessions at 1 o'clock. One of them is using guidelines, policy, and behavioral design to create a healthy and appealing campus dining experience. And then these are simultaneous sessions, so you'll actually have to pick one. And the other is applied principles of inclusivity in dining, design, and operation. So that's at 1 o'clock. At 2 o'clock, we've got open mic Tuesday. And if you have not been joining us for open mic afternoon sessions, you just don't know what you're missing, and you're missing out. So please join us for those, and we look forward to seeing everybody. I hope you have a great rest of your morning, and we'll see you soon. Bye, everybody. Have a great day.